Hi, my name is Jeremy Agnew and I'm delighted to be talking to you today. I have been invited by the wonderful Plastics Pollution Coalition to talk to you about something we've got going together called the Drastic Plastic Mission. It all started a while back when we thought, what can we do in the world to try and kind of make change? And one of the big areas that was sort of quite glaringly obvious was the amount of plastic that we use. So my work has kind of been around how we can combine people, citizens, our minds and our knowledge to try and figure out how to solve problems. And so I approached the Plastic Pollution Coalition, who very kindly partnered with me and my team to try and figure out this kind of big issue together. So you might recognize my voice from a video that we put out a week ago called Drastic Plastic, which has had, I think, something close to like 15 or 20,000 views, which for me is amazing. And it's been an amazing journey since. So what we did is we created an app to crowdsource people's ideas to try and solve a problem. And so we created a brief, and when we started to think about the brief, we thought, what is the problem that we're looking at to try and address, and why should you care? Why should I care? Why is it important to think about the plastic problem? Well, to kind of put it in context, which is kind of amazing, is the equivalent of 1 million garbage trucks or rubbish trucks are disposing plastic into the ocean every single year. It's a crazy amount. It's like something like 10,000 garbage trucks a week. And if you were to total up all of the weight of all the plastic in the oceans every single year that's dumped in there, it's 3 times as much as the weight of all the blue whales in the oceans, right? 3 times as much. That's unbelievable. So while the blue whales are going down in numbers, plastic's just increasing, and to the point where by 2050 it's predicted that there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than there is fish. And for me, that's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So what we want to try to do is try to think about what can we do to try and figure that out. If you kind of want to talk about how plastic waste is affecting you directly, that's also a super important thing, because it increases the value of all the products that you buy in your supermarkets, your grocery stores, by about 16% per year. All of your goods. Because of all of that packaging, it's just tons and tons and tons of it, and so much of it, is important in comparison to, maybe other products that we could use that could be heavier, like glass. But it is damaging. It's used once, and then it's thrown away. But it's designed to last a lifetime. That doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. So then the other areas that kind of really sort of heavily impacts you is around the fact that it's a chemical, and these kind of chemicals are leached from the plastic into your food. They get into the food chain, and the food chain is this enormous ecosystem where it goes from plankton to fish, all the way through, and then can end up back in our bodies again. And that has, according to certain scientific studies, it has kind of adverse effects to mothers, to the children, for breastfeeding, for all sorts of different things, and also just for us in general. And when you have tiny pieces of plastic that are entering into the ocean through the waste, the fish are eating them. You've seen the videos of the turtle with the straw in its neck, which that was heart-wrenching. It kind of completely destroyed me. But fish are actually eating these micro pieces of plastic the entire time. And then we end up eating the fish, and it's in the system, and it's a prevalent, and it's a real serious problem. So most of us kind of think we're a bit lost, like, well, I'm just one person, what can I do? But that's the wonderful thing. What if we weren't just one person? What if we were hundreds, thousands, millions, billions of people? Then it becomes super exciting. Then we start to think, wow, we've got something pretty important here. And you've seen, how groups of people can take down a government, bad government. You can see how groups of people will, demand more from the businesses out in the world. We've seen how everybody joining forces together can achieve a great deal with sort of passion for action. So me and my friends and my team, we thought, what can we do to think about how we join our minds and our knowledge and our creativity and our ingenuity in one place to solve problems? And these are world problems. This can be anything, but this, our first one, the one we've chosen to launch with, and the one we need you for, is all about the drastic plastic problem. And so we spent some time thinking about how to go about this. And so we created a problem-solving app. It sorts your ideas out, the best ideas rise to the top, and I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. But first I'll kind of go back back to the start, where we thought what was important to us, and why did we call the app A New Mission? And it's based around this kind of concept of what a mission is in life. And I really believe that we should all have a mission. It's a sense of, it's a goal, it's a task, but it's more than that, because it's the journey towards solving a problem. It's not the problem itself, but it's the journey that you're going to take. And so we wanted to create an app that was that journey. How can we build upon each other's ideas throughout this process in order to achieve something at the end? And so this is what we've spent many years doing, lots of different variations, but now we're finally ready to launch and go live. And so we launched it last week. We've had almost 150 people download it and participate and vote on all the ideas that we've had. I think we've had about 30 ideas so far, which have been just super exciting and really, really great ideas. And what it begins to do is to start to give people this sense of fulfillment and purpose when you have your mission, when you have something to do, something to work on. And they've even seen now, with scientific studies, that if you do good, if you have a sense of purpose, it releases oxytocin in the brain. That makes you happy. So, doing good makes you happy, and actually improves the world. So this is what we're working on right now, is how can we get more people doing good? How can we get, make it easy for you guys to all help and do it from wherever and whenever you feel like it. You can do it from your phone. And that's the beauty of it, is we're trying to make doing good as easy as just, reaching out and, pressing a button on your phone and typing a few ideas that you've got in your head. And it's amazing what the feedback has been so far. So it's really, really exciting. We're often thinking about kind of collaboration and what it means to collaborate together. And what I've found and what I've seen actually my background is in helping companies and people and organizations and charities come up with new ideas. And all the best ones throughout history, the history of mankind, have all come from collaboration. We work with each other, and that's how we work best. We work exceptionally well when you're talking to a buddy who goes, hey, did you think about that? And have you thought about that? And what about this? And you're building on each other's ideas the entire time. And this has happened with knowledge. Knowledge is nothing other than, what you've learned and what you can then build on, and then what you can pass on to others. So all of this is collaboration, and is one of the best tools we have at our disposal to improve the world, is to collaborate together. I think it's quite easy to explain when I think lots of you have all seen the TV program Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And if you look at the whole history of that show and the times when you could either ask a friend, who's essentially an expert, the most intelligent person you know, or you can ask the audience, and you don't know, which one is the best choice to choose. But the statistics don't lie. This is what's really amazing about it. If you ask a friend, they were right, I think, about 65% of the time throughout the entire show's history. But if you ask the audience, they were right 92% of the time. This is the amazing thing about tapping into the minds of wonderful people who are engaged and want to do good in the world. And that's what we're trying to achieve right now. So that's what we've created in the app. So the app has different stages. And you're going to join, hopefully, once you've seen this video, and you'll see some other ideas that other people have made. And you'll vote on those people's ideas. And that helps us in what we call a meritocracy. The best ideas rise to the top. And then we go through to the next stage. Once the 6 best ideas have been identified, we start to develop them. We develop them into what we call, but they start off as seed ideas, very short, like a little paragraph and an image and a title. And then we develop them into kind of feasible solutions. We start to think about who can help make it, what needs to happen in order for this to become real, and what's the time, or is there going to be a cost, or can we think of really clever ways that we can bring everything together? Maybe there are some strategic partners that we can jump in bed with and make it happen. And that's when it becomes really exciting. And then at the end of that round, we all vote again, and we decide which is the one idea that is the brilliant one that we should all go ahead. And then we make it happen. And me and my team, other people I know, the Plastic Pollution Coalition, all sorts of incredible people want to make this happen. So I'm going to tell you about the mission itself, Drastic Plastic. We identified what we think is essentially a cure, not a treatment. A lot of people think that if we were to, be recycling more, that would solve the problem. But recycling is a treatment. It only addresses the result of the problem, or the plastic. And the problem is only 1% of all plastic in the world is recycled every year. Where does the rest go? A lot of it is incinerated. A lot of it goes into landfills. And China now can't even handle the amount of plastic and paper, and is rejecting it from China to be sorted where it was being sorted beforehand. And we're going to have to dump even more into landfills, and we're going to have to dump even more into the oceans. So we've got to think about the solution, and that goes back to what's the cure. And the cure is to look at where it's coming from and think about how we can be preventative. And so one big area that we're going to focus on is around supermarkets, grocery stores for you guys in America, because I've got a funny accent and we speak differently a little bit. And so grocery stores and supermarkets, they're producing a huge amount. It's important in some respects because it helps keep produce fresh, but there are other ways of thinking about it. There's other types of materials they can use. So we're asking you guys to come and help us on the app with everybody else to think about how we can ask supermarkets to change their practices. We're not saying they should be doing this. They should be using less plastic. They should be using paper. We don't want to, that's not what we're trying to find. We're trying to find what could be a campaign, what could be something positive that we could all rally around. The supermarkets would go, yeah, we want to be involved in that. Yeah, that sounds cool. And it doesn't need to be, like punishing them or being angry. But what it should be is about how do we change behavior, not on the supermarket level and on the consumer level, on both sides, because we should all be doing this together. And that's what we need you guys to help us with. We need you to come and join the app and just come and see what's going on. And then if you feel inspired, and hopefully you will be inspired, then you can come up with some brilliant ideas too. So we've had some really fun ones. I'll give you 3 examples just so you kind of get it to grips with it. One of them is called Message in a Bottle. There's this really cool couple who are called Carlos and Carolyn, and they've done some brilliant work already, and they create this kind of stand-up paddleboard made out of plastic bottles, and they glue it all together, and they want to paddle all the way up the Thames. The Thames is the river that runs all the way from halfway through the UK, all the way down and through London. It's the big river that runs through London and out into the ocean, and they want to do the entire stretch, the entire thing, and then hand over a message to the government to say, we need your help to change legislation. So that's one interesting way of approaching it, which I quite like. But we're thinking about other ways as well. So somebody else came up with something called hashtag #OWOW, OWOW, which meant 1 week of waste, where all of us take a photo of all the collected plastic that we've used in 1 week, and we put that on our social media, and we tag the supermarkets who've been, who we bought all our produce from. And we think about how we can say to them, okay, you can see the produce, you can see the plastic, you can see all this waste. What can we do about this? And to get them to see the quantity that we're left with that has to then go and be recycled. And then another idea which I really like, which is called Make Fresh Fun. And this is really cool. And it's like, instead of having everything wrapped up in the produce section, what about if we could go into that produce section and we could, everything is inviting us to pick it out and to choose it. And one of the cool ideas was to keep it fresh. We'd have a little rainstorm that keeps all the produce sprayed, and there would be lightning and thunder going off with a little kind of speaker and a little bit of lighting. And that was just so cool. It makes it kind of a positive affirmation about what we should be doing and how we're going to approach thinking about, okay, all right, plastic's not the thing, but maybe we could think about other ways around it. Anyway, so all of these are great ideas. You need to come and vote on them. You need to kind of post your own. You need to talk to this with your friends. And, you know, I love what I'm seeing all your comments on here, and this is amazing. These are great comments, but they need to be in the app. So you can see we posted the link in the section, and I'm really open. I'd love to talk about some questions. Veronica, I can see you saying more use of real cups and Starbucks. That's great. We're talking about supermarkets in this particular mission. So there's that's what we need to focus on, is how can we create change in supermarkets. And yeah, Carla, you're saying make manufacturers responsible to take back and reuse all the products they use and create. Okay, so that's like government legislation. That's quite difficult to enact, but what if we can think about ways that supermarkets go, all right, we want to do this because the public have worked with us. So putting all the onus on the supermarket is quite heavy. Maybe we can think about something we can do collaboratively. Carla, I just described the grocery stores in America, not always good. Yeah. So it's same with the UK, actually. I think in grocery stores all over the place. Here we are, let me have a look. Aldi is an easy target. Practically every piece of fruit is wrapped in cello. Okay, thanks, Bill. You know, so like this is, you know, we're thinking that's kind of like very much like a kind of blame game. What can we do to kind of go beyond that? But I like the way you've kind of you've already noticed this. You can see where the issue lies. Okay, Carla again saying, explain to them how all the rivers flow into the ocean. Yep, I think it's a certain sort of kind of basic biology that hopefully like the supermarkets can definitely learn to work with. Eileen asks, how do you convince people who live in the middle of the country and 1,000 miles from the ocean that their use of plastics affects the ocean? So as I've just explained earlier, Eileen, it's not just the ocean. We focus on that because it has a huge impact on it. But as I briefly talked about at the very beginning, is it affects us directly in three kind of very obvious ways. It increases the cost of all of your goods by 16%. That's a huge amount. Can you imagine if you were spending, you know, $1,000 a month, right? That's $160 of every 1,000 that you're spending for your food, or, you know, over months and months and months. It just adds up, right? If you've got a big family, it just adds up. So that is straight away, that's a big problem. The chemicals that are leached into our food, the fish that we're eating as well that are having plastic. 99% of plastic comes from fossil fuels. It's a non-sustainable form of power that we have, right? And we're drawing it from the ground. And as a result, even if you are landlocked, even if you don't see the oceans, you can understand the effects that it's going to have on you in your life. Anyway, so I've been really blessed, and I'm so happy that all of you guys are liking this and sending hearts, and I can't wait to see your ideas. I can't wait to have you on the app. I can't wait to see what we're capable of if we kind of join our minds together. And I thank you so much. I'm going to answer all of your questions that you put up in the comment section. And I thank the Plastic Pollution Coalition. Thank you very much for this opportunity to work with all of you, wonderful, wonderful people. And let's see if we can solve this drastic plastic mission. Thank you so much, and hope you're all having a lovely Sunday. Okay, bye-bye.